I'd like to introduce you to one of my most favourite games, Stranded Deep. This game was released as an early access game for Windows and Mac OS on January 23rd, 2015. The game would eventually release on consoles, with them actually receiving the full game first in April 2020, and later for PC in August 2022. So what makes this game so good? Well, it might be a nostalgic hit for me because this was one of the first games I ever played on PC back when I was an 11-year-old goblin. But if I look past that fact, I'm greeted with some of the worst boss fights and game endings I've ever encountered. But that's not why you should play this game. Stranded Deep's core mechanics are actually fantastic, and offering some of the best views I personally have seen. As you look into the distance, all you can see are empty islands and the tops of shipwrecks, and it really creates that feeling of loneliness. The game starts pretty regularly with your private jet suddenly exploding and landing in the ocean, with the game prompting you to get to a life raft. After a short loading screen, we get our first glimpse of our new home for a while, with nothing to save us but our life raft. With nothing left for us, the only reasonable thing to do is to complete the tutorial. Pick up resources you can find around the island, press tab to open your inventory. Ooh! So, we need one lashing, one stick, and one stone tool. And to get lashing, I believe we need to get rid of these yucca trees, because these will give us fibrous leaves, which we can then craft into lashing, and then craft a refined knife. Boom! Kill a crab. So we can pick up the crab, and then we can drop it, and then use the knife to skin Mr. Krabs. There we go. I believe you can also just pick up coconuts like this. I believe if we drop them and then smack them, so we can drink him and then we can crack them in half and then eat them. And you can see over in the distance we've got a couple of islands we can travel to if we need more resources. I think I'm going to set up here just because it's a little bit flatter than the other areas. So maybe someplace here, and then cook the crab meat. Crude axe, so now we can drop down trees quicker. So we can get ourselves a shelter. So the game doesn't automatically save things, you do have to manually save it, I believe anyway, at least that's how it used to work. The game wants to craft a water still. And now we have our own little water still. So this will eventually fill up so we can drink from this. And I believe the way that we kind of, like, I guess fuel it is using these. So if I pick these up, I can then add fiber. And then this will gradually start filling up. And it wants us to craft a hammer. So I'm going to have a little look around for rocks quickly. There are, on some islands, these little, like, rock piles, which we can mine, obviously, for stone. But that involves needing a pickaxe, and obviously I don't have that yet. So I believe we have this hammer. We go to building and start crafting, like, foundations and stuff. So we need 4 of these. And using the hammer, we can smack this, and that'll get built up. There we are, so we have our own little foundation, and that is the tutorial completed, as well as the end of day 1. With the tutorial completed and the first day finished, I began to look inside of the shipwreck spread around my little island. And specifically, these are really good. So these are little wood containers, there's a lot in it as well. So we can actually pick these up and use them as storage, and we can, like, stack them on top of each other and stuff, which is really cool. Here's another one. That has some stuff in it as well. Ah! Frick. Yeah, here's another one here. Some fuel. I didn't really look properly, but I'm really hoping that one of these boxes has a compass in them, because that would be really helpful. 3 flat torches. I'm gonna say flashlights. 4 torches. Holy schloot. My plan wasn't to spend very long on this island, so I made it priority number 1 to get a raft going to make travelling around much easier. So step number 1 was to try and take complete advantage over my first island by taking all of its resources. Okay, so I've kind of just completely destroyed this island as humans do best. I've just made this pile of trees, so if you ever need sticks, I think we're okay. I did some fishing using a fishing spear I found inside of a shipwreck and made myself a fire spit which would allow me to cook multiple pieces of meat at once. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've processed all of these trees. So we've got a big stack of palm fronds, sticks, and logs. And we're also now, so my axe did break, but we're also now out of lashing. No, we're not, because I think this one has just respawned. That's lovely. So this is actually where I encountered my first issue. You see, this island doesn't have enough resources for me, specifically lashing. So using the small amount of lashing I had left, I crafted a new crude axe and knife and set up a raft with a sail on top. However, this wouldn't be enough as I still needed a rudder in order to steer the raft, otherwise I would just be floating around the ocean forever. So with me completely out of lashing and no way to obtain any more, I had to just suck it up and set sail using the crappy life raft. So I loaded up the wooden crate with what I wanted to take with me to my new island and hit the water. Alright, we made it in one piece in the crappy survival raft. Actually, the best thing for me to build then is probably a spear, which just needs one stick. Obviously, in case we come across any snakes or boars or anything. Boars will give us, I believe, leather, which is important! Big crab. Big crab. Ow. Gotta really be careful. Yes! There we go. So we can skin this into, I believe, large crab meat, which obviously will give us more points to hunger. And we've really got to be careful of snakes, because if I get bit by a snake, it might just be over. Come here. Yeah. 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 Nice. Come to think of it, how would a boar even get onto one of these islands? He definitely didn't swim, that's for sure. Or maybe he did. I quickly explored my new home island and started harvesting the yucca trees so I can craft more lashing before looting up one of the shipwrecks. I then emptied the crates and made my way back to the starting island to grab any left materials and to finish my little raft. And welcome back to island number 1. I should be able to craft the rudder. Yes! I am so smart, sometimes. I loaded up the crates with the leftover materials to take to my new base and finally got to put the raft to the test. Or a nice fast, swift raft. And the sail is on backwards. That is just fantastic. Oh, it was me that was in the way. It should work as intended this time. Here we are. So much quicker and so much easier. It was a new day on a new island, so I wanted to start by setting everything up by organizing my loot and getting a smoker set over top of the fire, as well as my first tanning rack, which would allow me to process rawhide into leather, which would then allow me to craft higher tier tools, including my first pickaxe. So with that done, let's start by crafting up my base. Start by building in the corner. Start with a simple 2x2. Actually, that's gonna frustrate me if these aren't all facing the same way. This is the odd one out. There we go, that faces the right way. Humble little 2x2. That's slightly annoying. Well, looks like this base is gonna be more long than it is wide. Let's get the walls up now. I might leave partially open just so I can expand it slightly easier instead of like adding walls and stuff, like maybe over here. Maybe in this corner, I could put like a pile of something in this corner just for easy access. No! That's frustrating. So this is the finished hut or whatever. I mean, it's not finished. But I've left a gap here because I want to put stairs there, which are here, or wood steps. We're going to put steps here, and then we'll build another floor, which I could have, like maybe a dedicated floor to like storage or something. But that is for another video, and that is where I'm going to leave it today. So I hope you enjoyed this Stranded Deep gameplay. I plan to do a full walkthrough of this game, because it's one of my favourite games of all time, and I think the game deserves more love than what it gets. Granted, there's a couple of bugs here and there, but a lot of games these days don't, and I don't see any problem with it, and I still think it's a hell of a lot of fun, and it's really chilling. It's got some of the greatest views, if you like this kind of thing, which I do. The whole like sort of tropical island type theme is really, you know, it's my kind of thing. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.